Welcome to SDH's coverage of everything going on in USL League One. We'll take you backward before we go forward, take you through the week that was, and get you ready for the week that will be when it comes to one of the more competitive leagues in pretty much, and we'll just go ahead and say it, pretty much any hemisphere known to mankind. USL League One, always when you think somebody's pulling away, as it turns out, they're really not. And we'll get you ready for the week that will be and take you back, starting off with action on your Wednesday. Chattanooga Red Wolves catching up with some of the matches that they are behind. Got a 2-0 win over Forward Madison. Big win for the Red Wolves at home. Forward Madison coming up in just a little bit. Northern Colorado Hailstorm, and we have news involving Hailstorm coming up a little later on in the show. 2-0 winners over Richmond Kickers. Richmond had to go from Saturday at City Stadium to turning around after a win over Chattanooga on the 3rd, having to fly out to Northern Colorado. They end up losing that one 2-0, which sets up Saturday where a lot of folks were in action. Greenville and Union Omaha, a rematch of the title game, 1-1 draw at Furman at Paladin Stadium. Optum Sports Medicine Field and Tormenta Stadium, Tormenta and Lex SC end up with a 1-1 draw. And then the surprise of the week, we go to Breeze Stevens. It's our match of the week, Forward Madison and North Carolina FC. Here's your highlights, courtesy of our friends at USL League One, ESPN Plus, and YouTube.
For the starting whistle of center referee Matt Gettinger. And there it sounds. We are underway here in Madison, Wisconsin. Forward Matt. It was a corner to the front post. This one a little bit deeper into the area, headed only as far as Prentice. Now drops for Osmond, whose curling effort excited the fans, but didn't really trouble Holiday. Shipman nearly caught out. Maybe a chance here for North Carolina. Ball turned over. Here's Maldonado. Fairly comfortable in the end. Serrania peels away. It'll be Perez to the far post. Easily caught by Shipman. Saw every blue shirt on the other side of midfield for a couple minutes there. There's a ball over the top for Stephen Payne. The flag stays down. Payne one-on-one and makes the most of it. A deadly strike on the brink of halftime from Stephen Payne. Forward Madison on the board in the 44th minute. Payne miles onside. One-on-one, bearing down on goal. Keeps his composure. What a way to score your first of the season and send the Forward Madison faithful. Calls to move things along from the referee, who so far hasn't had to do too much since replacing the starting official tonight. There's a mistake at the back. Batiste could be in behind, has an option at the far post, and it's buried by Wolfgang Prentice. It's a mistake at the back. Batiste capitalizes. And the second time tonight, we say somebody has opened their scoring account in 2023 for Forward Madison. That is a heck of an attendance on a fairly lovely night in Wisconsin. Chested down, volleyed it in! It's a third from Jake Kroll, and the third player to open his goal-scoring account in 2023 tonight. Martinez delivery in, headed on. Kroll able to chest it and just get enough on the volley. He is pumped up, didn't try. Pass able to be taken down by Adams. Slide rule ball for McLaughlin. Back towards Adams. Save made by Shipman. And headed away from danger by Mel. Stands his ground. Lovely 1-2. Adams just didn't quite connect with the shot. Needs to wait for some blue shirts to join him. Macias on the overlap for Prentice. Towards Cheney. Falls toward him. Headed off the goal line. And the foul will go against Cheney. And a case for a foul there. See the replay. No, Cheney got his head to it first. Holiday was just second to the ball. Wheeler-Aminu will take some space. Here's Cheney, flicking it back. Here's Andrew Wheeler-Aminu. Tried the back heel instead, a shot from screen. Easily corralled. Will shield the ball out for a goal kick. And that might put the curtains on this one. And for the second time this season, Forward Madison bests North Carolina.
Big win for Forward Madison after having to play in the midweek and then traveling back home. At Future Legends, goalless draw with Northern Colorado and 1 Knox, so Northern Colorado ends up with a 4-point week. Richmond continued their road trip going from Northern Colorado and Future Legends out to Fresno State to take on Central Valley Fuego. Richmond got the win in that one by the score of 2-1. So that sets up your standings as we get ready for, once again, midweek and weekend activity in USL League One. We mentioned the 2 North Carolina squads, and right now they're tied after 7 matches, after 12 matches, tied at 22 points. North Carolina FC, though, has more wins than Charlotte Independence does, 7-6, and therefore they're on top of the ladder. Richmond are third. They played 13 matches. Road trips will do that. 3 matches in a week will do that too. 5-3-5. They're at 20 points. Northern Colorado Hailstorm unbeaten in their last 5, and they have 3 wins in that span. 5-1-4 through 10 matches, and they still have some catching up to do. They're at 19 points under Ayman Zayed. News on him coming up. Forward Madison, they snapped their 3-4, their 2-game losing streak. They'd lost 3-4 before the win last time out against North Carolina FC. They're at 16 points in 5th. 1 Knox is at 16 points, 4-4-4 in their first 12, and they would be in the last playoff spot. South Georgia Tormenta, they're at 15 points. They've drawn their last 3, as have the Triumph, who are at 13 points through 12. Union Omaha is at 12 points also. They have 1 less win, and they are worse in goal difference than Greenville. Chattanooga snapping their 4-game winless streak, gets the win, and they're at 11 points through 11 matches. Central Valley is hitting the loss-win alternator. They're at 10 points through 11 matches, and Lex SC at 2-5-4. They've drawn their last 3, so they've gotten points in their last 3. It's just that they're singles. So Lex SC at the bottom of the table with 10 points. So that sets up all of the news that is going on around USL League One. Player of the Month, Coach of the Month. We mentioned Coach of the Month. It's Ayman Zayed. With everything that Northern Colorado has been up to, League One Coach of the Month for May. You also have your League One Players of the Month for May. And those nominees, as we continue through, nominees totaled 14 goals and 5 assists in 20 matches. Presented by our friends at Konami eFootball, and you have until tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Time, to take part in the fan section of it. It is Trevor Amon for Northern Colorado, Leo Castro for Greenville, Joao Gumiero for Richmond, Noe Meza at Union Omaha, Luis Perez for North Carolina FC. So the fan vote takes care of 60% of the poll, but once again, you have until 8:30 Tuesday night to take care of it. The technical committee's ballots take care of the other 40%. Award winner and complete voting results are announced on June 14th. Other news going on in USL League One. We mentioned Ayman Zayed getting League One Coach of the Month for May with what we've seen from Northern Colorado. And it was 3 wins and a clean sheet over the month of May, and that garnered Zayed the hardware and the recognition. Also on the board, we can add another side to USL League One. Brooklyn, New York has been awarded a USL League One franchise, and they will begin competing in 2025. It is Brooklyn and the North 6th group that have paired together. 2.6 million residents, and North 6 is a New York-based family office operating company, providing strategic services, operating expertise, and capital to companies around the globe. Their current holdings span financial services, media, professional services, sports and entertainment, technology, and the wine and spirits sectors. North 6th Group and Chairman Matt Rosetta has investments in a pair of professional Italian clubs, Second Division Ascoli Calcio 1898 in Serie B, and 4th Division Campobasso out of Serie D. They acquired an ownership interest in Ascoli back in 21, a controlling interest in Campobasso in 22, making it the first investment of the club in 2020. Ascoli has competed in Serie A or Serie B for more than 40 years. Campobasso won promotion to Serie D last year. So Rosetta is looking forward for North 6th to be a part of USL League One in Brooklyn coming up in 2025. More information on the development of the club, the reveal of the club name, brand, and celebration event are coming in the coming weeks, so make sure that you keep an eye out for all of that when it comes to the addition of Brooklyn, the League One in 2025. You can also sign up for the League One newsletter. Go to uslleagueone.com, click on the banner, sign up for the newsletter, and don't forget to follow them on all of their social media platforms on Twitter, Facebook, and on Instagram. Piece of news that combines Atlanta United and Charlotte Independence. The Charlotte Independence signed 15-year-old Nathan Gray to a professional contract, the youngest professional signing in club history, ranked third by Prep Soccer in the state of Georgia for the high school class of 2026. Previously attended a U.S. Soccer Regional IDU 15 camp. He's had stints with Atlanta United's U16, U17, and U19 teams, native of far eastern Gwinnett County out in Grayson. 9 goals, 14 assists this year. Led the U16 squad, helped lead the U16 squad to the 2023 MLS Next Cup playoffs with a first-place finish in group play during the Next Flex tournament. So, great pickup for Charlotte, going to the Atlanta United Academy and picking up 15-year-old midfielder Nathan Gray, youngest signing in Charlotte history. So, good work for USL League One going forward. We mentioned Goal of the Week nominees for week number 13. And remember, traditionally, you've got to go to USL League ONE and figure out when all of that information is going to come to pass. You have until Thursday, June 15th at 12:30 to vote on the poll on the USL app, USL League One social channels, or USLLeagueONE.com. Your choices are Ropapa Mensah for Charlotte against Forward Madison, Trevor Amon for Northern Colorado against Richmond, Jacob Kroll for Forward Madison and his match and the goal that he scored against North Carolina FC, and Emiliano Terzaghi from Richmond. We see him on there a lot. After they lose at Northern Colorado, they come back for the win at Central Valley. Opta goal probabilities have been introduced to your choices for Goal of the Week for Week 13. Goal probability for Ropapa Mensah, just under 23%. Trevor Amon, just under 4%. League-leading 8th goal of the season for Trevor Amon. Jacob Kroll, a little under 11%. And Terzaghi at just over 19%. So once again, you can vote for League One Goal of the Week. Mensah, Amon, Kroll, and Terzaghi. Go to USLLeague1.com or vote on the social media platforms to let your voice be heard until Thursday. News out of Richmond. The Kickers are going to be hosting Comunicaciones in an international friendly. Very, very cool stuff there. First international friendly for the club since 2018, almost 5 years, taking place on July 18th. Comunicaciones de Guatemala. We've seen them a lot in CONCACAF Champions League. And they're going to be heading to City Stadium. And it is a part of a renewed commitment by the Richmond Kickers to have international sides and having friendlies when the schedule allows. Last hosted an international side July 26, 2018, when RCD Español from La Liga came to Richmond. They've also hosted Crystal Palace, West Brom, and Swansea back in the mid-2000s. And so one of the most successful clubs in Guatemala, with one of the most massive followings that are attached to a club in the sport. Founded in 1949, affectionately known as Los Cremas, the Creams, also known as El Hexacampeón, for winning 6 straight championships. Only club in the country to do so. 2022 CONCACAF Champions League beat Colorado 1-1 on aggregate before facing NYCFC in the quarters. 5-5 in those 2 legs, and NYC would advance on away goals 4-3. 2021 CONCACAF League winners were Comunicaciones, so keep an eye on that if you're looking for something to do when it comes to international friendlies. July 18th, 7:30, City Stadium, Richmond Kickers and Comunicaciones de Guatemala. Also on the board, getting into your schedule for the matches coming up in the middle of this week and in the weekend, you've got on Wednesday the one match, Lex SC hosting Chattanooga Red Wolves. That's at 7 o'clock at Toyota Stadium. Saturday, once again, the full slate. At City Stadium, you have Richmond hosting Forward Madison, 7 o'clock. 7:30 at Regal Stadium, One Knox hosting Charlotte Independence. 7:30 in Statesboro, South Georgia Tormenta, Northern Colorado Hailstorm. Early contender for match of the week. Ian Cameron, by the way, had his recent red card rescinded. 10 o'clock in Fresno, California, Central Valley Fuego hosting Greenville Triumph. Sunday, 3 o'clock at Wake Med, North Carolina FC hosting Lexington. So Lexington goes from having a home match in the midweek to traveling to Cary to take on North Carolina FC on Sunday on the weekend. As always, if you are in market and can take in one of the matches for one of the tightest leagues in this hemisphere, please do so. You have ample opportunities to do it in the midweek and the weekend. If you're in market and can't, follow along on your local providers. If you are out of market and still want to follow along with USL League One, other than listening to this show every week, you can follow along on ESPN Plus, because every match in the USL League One is going to be on the ESPN family of networks, ESPN Plus, your home of USL League One in the regular season and through the playoffs. That's your rundown of everything that's going on in USL League One. Enjoy the action in USL League One. Play it safe, everybody. For everybody here at SDH, we'll catch up with you next week.